Namaskar to all my brothers and sisters, and my humble pranams at the holy feet of the Divine Master and all elders of our mission. Today, I would like to read one of the messages of Rev.Babuji Maharaj in the book Voice Real, page 19. Here in this Voice Real, in the beginning, Babuji is emphasizing on painful restlessness to reach the beloved master and become one with him. Therefore, Babuji also advises all Abhyasis to develop such painful restlessness, impatience, longing, so craving that we have to develop to reach our destination or our goal. Okay, this is what Babuji Maharaj is, suggesting us. Now let me read this passage where Babuji Maharaj is explaining about his own experience to reach the ultimate. So Babuji said, now let me go to the passage. Babuji said, Babuji said, let us now take into consideration the means by which we can develop that feeling in our heart, that feeling of painless restlessness towards God realization. So that has to be developed. For that, we must take into account the factors that are helpful in this respect, as also others that serve to impede our progress on the path. The greatest obstruction on the path, as I could discover after a life's experience, is offered by our feelings of partiality and prejudice, which may be roughly assumed to be a type of ahankara. So the greatest obstacle on the path of spirituality to reach the ultimate is nothing but the egoism. Egoism is creating all bad tendencies, bad thoughts, bad thinking, so many things, whatever we are having, the negativity, that which is obstructing our progress in spirituality is because of the root cause is our own egoism. Okay. So therefore, that is called roughly assumed to be ahankara. Ahankara means egoism. It exists in numerous forms which are known to everybody. Okay. Means everybody knows about what this ahankara is doing. Is creating problems to us. Kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, mascharya, slave to desires, fears, doubts, confusions, illusions, delusions, whatnot. All these things because of this ego, which is activating all these tendencies, wrong thinking, and then all bad qualities and habits it is creating in the mind. So this is the first thing we have to observe and eradicate. So now, to clarify my point, I may take up an instance. He is telling now his own experience of this egoism. So he is telling an example. That is, if a king thinks and repeats every moment that he is a king, it means he is adding round himself more and more layers of grossness and solidity. That is a thing. Repeating. Suppose a king repeats himself, always I am the king, I have done it, I am, because of me this has happened. Go on repeating and boasting himself. That will end what? That will end in grossness and solidity, and which will become a covering around the soul, samskara. So one should be very careful. We should not boast ourselves. The others should speak our own virtues. So that is what Babuji is telling. And in that case, everyone would be accusing him of arrogance and vain pride. Okay. When it surpasses the limit, he gets transformed into a second Ravana. Suppose the king surpasses, crosses even the ahankara. You see, then what is his condition? He will become second Ravana. Okay, who along with his many heads had one of an ass, which symbolized his foolish arrogance. Ravana had 10 heads. One of the heads was that of donkey or an ass. That's why that donkey's head, what it symbolizes? It symbolizes the foolish arrogance of Ravana. You understand? It is really not for the king himself, but only for others to regard him as a king. That's what it. King should not boast himself of his greatness. Others, people should recognize it and appreciate him. Then only that king is a righteous man. Therefore, on his own part, he is expected to be gentle. How a king should be? He should be gentle and kind and supporter of the weak and poor. That is the quality what a king requires. If he wants to command respect, reverence from the people in his own kingdom, that is what we should also develop. Not only that example, we should also develop such qualities. We should not boast ourselves. I am doing sadhana for 40 years, 50 years. No. I am the preceptor. 35 long years I am the preceptor. What is this? I heard such people. That is only arrogance. It is not at all virtue. So therefore, indirectly, Babuji Maharaj is telling, don't develop arrogance. Develop virtue. Okay. So therefore, on his own part, he is expected to be gentle and kind and a supporter of the weak and poor. Then alone shall he be able to command the full respect of his people. Okay, he can command by being virtuous, loving others. We can command respect from them, not by boasting. That will, everybody will start disrespecting us. So therefore, that is the thing what Babuji said. One rises to prominence only when he thinks himself to be humble and low. We have anybody, there are a lot of people in this material world who have achieved the greatest positions in positions in this world, but they should be humble and low. If we are not humble and low, then our life is a waste. All our eminence, greatness, that will go into darkness. So we have to be humble and low. So, low. Humility brings forth what arrogance cannot. So here Babuji is telling humility is important thing. What humility brings forth that arrogance cannot. Okay. That is it. Our own self-trumpeting, boasting will not yield any type of appreciation. We cannot command any respect or appreciation from the others. Therefore, humility is important thing. Humility is divinity. Okay. So we have to develop humility and shun this arrogance. One rises to prominence only when he thinks himself to be humble and low. Humility brings forth what arrogance cannot. One must therefore never part with this noble virtue. One should not leave the virtue, righteousness. Always hold on to virtue, virtuous character, virtuous principles that we have to mold. We may be we may be like animals. We may have animal tendencies. Even then, we have to mold ourselves. What? The virtuous character. We should be virtuous. We have to develop virtue. Okay? Not wise. V-I-C-E, wise. No wickedness. We have to develop virtue. Therefore, what he is telling, never part with his noble virtue. He be great or small. See, we should not never part, never leave virtue. We have to develop that virtuous character. We may be. See, what Babuji is telling, yes, for others. So, one must therefore never part with his noble virtue. He be great or small. We may be great or small. High born or low born. The person may be richest and another person may be fakir. Maybe poor man, a beggar. And Brahmin or Sudra. This caste prejudice is there. 3,000 caste in our India. This caste prejudice is there. I am high born, I am a Brahmin and you are a Sudra. Like that, this caste prejudice should be removed. Then, God belongs to no caste. Babuji simply telling. You see, God belongs to no caste, no creed, no society, nothing. God, the society. Hence, there must be no difference between man and man on that basis. So, when God possesses nothing of all these differences and prejudice, then what we have to learn from the divine God? We have to be like him. We have to change ourselves like the divine God. There is no difference. Babuji says, man to man, there is no difference. Everybody is a human being, that's all. In National Prejudice, I read a textbook was there when I was reading graduation. That there is one lesson that is National Prejudice. That is the author writes beautifully. 4 people, American, then Chinese, French, or some Japan, like that, 4 country people, they meet at a hotel and then they discuss on various things about the world and everything. Then one man says, I am an American. My country is great. My American people are all very rich. Another man says, I am a German. My country is full of what is called, we are producing everything. We are not borrowing anything. We are intellectual giants. Another Russian says, My country people are great people, and my country people, everyone is equal. And our communalism, this communalism is the greatest, what is called party in the world. Another Chinese. So four people they talk like that. My country, my nation, my nation. Then the author says, you see, four people you have national prejudice differences. But if you ask me, I don't belong to any country. I am the citizen of the world. So also Babuji is telling you should feel that you are human being. We are all brothers and sisters and children of that spiritual mother, Babuji Maharaj. So that attitude we have to develop. If at all we want to rise to eminence in the field of spirituality. Therefore, this is a godly quality and one must try to imbibe it within oneself. It's a godly quality, the virtue. Feeling humility, feeling equality, fraternity. This is godly quality, Babuji says. Then this is godly quality and one must try to imbibe it within oneself. If instead we look down with hatred upon the low and small, we swerve away from the path of duty or dharma. You should never look down upon anyone. He may be your servant. He may be low caste, creed. He may be a poor man. But one should not, you should not. Babuji says to us, you should not look down upon the low-born, the poor people. Look down with hatred upon the low and small. Low and small. Because we have millions, crores of people under we are better than them. So we have to treat them equally, not showing any partiality or prejudice. We have to mingle with them because they are also maybe lower strata, those people, but we have to mingle with them and feel universal brotherhood. Feel them that they are our kith and kin. So we have to develop such divine qualities. Okay. This hatredness, religion to religion, oh prejudice, hatredness, whatnot. This jealousy, greediness, and throwing stone on the other religion, speaking ill of other religion, all these things, it is undivine. It is not divine. So we have to remove all those prejudice, all those superstitions, all those differences and hatredness. We should not have. We should not hate anyone. Even Lalaji Maharaj said, one person asked Lalaji Maharaj, whom do you like in this world the most? Lalaji simply said, whom do you love most in this world? Lalaji said, my enemy. See, that is how we have to treat friend and foe equally, without any difference. Because only then in our heart the love will remain. Otherwise, the godly love, the God in us also will leave and go away. Suppose we feed the wickedness or evil in us. Okay? So that's why Babuji is telling, be careful. Don't allow evil, wickedness, don't feed them. You feed good, righteous. Then only you will develop. God resides, again Babuji is telling, God resides within everyone. He is seeing, Babuji Maharaj is seeing that God is existing in each and everyone, in each and everything. He is pervading like broad day sunlight in animate and inanimate particles. Babuji has seen one day. He felt the existence of God, that He is pervading in everything, in all lives and matter. So that has to be We have to come to that level. Okay. That is what Babuji is telling. God resides within everyone. So we have to treat everyone equally and give respect to everyone, because in even in murderers, the soul is there. Even in great wealthiest person, arrogant, that also he will have. Good people, priest or a saint, there in them also the God is existing. Therefore, we have to give respect to all living beings, not only human beings, all living beings, because in every living being, God is existing. That we have to recognize and realize. Only then our progress in spirituality will be speedy. So, therefore, that is what Babuji, God resides within everyone. So, there is no ground for treating anyone with hatred. If you realize that God is existing, God means the soul, that which is existing each and every life on this earth, every living creature on this earth, when you realize that, nobody will hate. Anybody will hate the mother? Nobody will hate. He may become president of India. You take our great Prime Minister Modi. In one of his that video, what I have seen, he is prostrating to his mother. Mother is very normal position, and son is in the highest position, first citizen of India. Even then, he gives respect to his mother. He pronounced to at her holy feet. That is what is required. That is what Babuji is telling. We have to develop such qualities, divine qualities. So, so there is no ground for treating anyone with hatred. So that will come naturally. That animal is there. So many animals we carry within us without even our knowledge that are existing. But once we know that we are hating a person, immediately we have to remove that hatredness by praying the great master. It will go away. And we try to love instead hatredness. We have to develop loving nature. This is one of the conditions which an abhyasi comes across during his march along the path. He is telling, Babuji is telling, you see, each and every abhyasi will come across this type of loving nature, not having hatred with anyone. Because why do you hate anyone? If you hate anyone, you are hating the God in him, in his heart. So we have to understand, we have to realize that each and every creature possesses the God in their hearts. So we should give respect to the God. While we are giving respect to the God, that we are loving the person or the creature. We have to do. That is our duty. We should not hate, or we should not have prejudice for others and gossip over others and treating in a mean way others. All these unrighteous qualities we have to slowly send off, and we have to develop righteous qualities. Kabir puts this idea nicely in one of his verses. The low born, having submitted themselves to the infinite grace of the Master, have achieved emancipation. See, Kabir says, low born. See, he never respect a poor man, maybe wealth or anything. Even he may not have the food. Low born, so he submits himself to the will of the God. And in turn, the infinite grace of the God or the Master they have achieved emancipation by sublimating themselves to the will of the Divine Master, and they get emancipated. You see, that is what. Whereas the high bond, being saturated with the pride of caste superiority, so many people are there, caste superiority. My caste, I am the highest born in the highest caste, or highest born, I am the wealthiest. My father is wealthiest, I am the wealthiest. So, like that, this type of egoism that most of the people are having, that should not be like that. They have to change their attitude. Only then, you see, this is one of the conditions which an abhyasi comes across during his march along the path. Kabir puts this idea nicely in one of his verses. The low-born, having submitted themselves to the infinite grace of the Master, have achieved emancipation, whereas the high-born, being saturated with the pride of caste superiority, finally get themselves drowned. Babuji doesn't like. Babuji, God himself, an avatar. So he is warning. Indirectly he is telling, don't. That caste prejudice you should not have. You should not differentiate man to man by your caste prejudice. That which is the worst attitude in any human being, let alone our abhyasis. So that prejudice, caste prejudice, one should not, that should be, of course, Babuji will remove all those things. But he is, some people are there, no, for them he is telling. Everyone must therefore try to be free from this evil. This is an evil, this feeling of greatness in any way. Not only this, what is called, not only caste prejudice, that rich, so many trunk wealth means what is called that power drunk, wealth drunk, that status drunk. People are there in this world. They may be also abhyasis in our mission. But Babuji telling in general to the entire humanity, you should not have those qualities, unrighteous qualities. You should be humble, pious. You should develop humility. You should treat everyone as your own flesh and blood, as your own brothers and sisters. You should always submit to the will of the Master, whatever he gives. He may keep you in heaven or in hell, wherever he keeps. We should get contented with that. Only then we can have that, we can reach that, get that emancipation. The highest will progress to the, and the Guru, the Master, Babuji Maharaj will take us all to that highest condition of ultimate reality. He will leave us in our destination and we'll be free from all this worldly problems, disease, death, or rebirth. From all these bondage attachments, we'll be totally free and we'll get liberation. We'll go to our destination. But we have to develop all these qualities. We can develop, he says, you have got will and power. You can change. Isn't it? So we can change ourselves according to the will of the Master. And let us all pray the great Master to give us strength, capacity, and a determination to change, to transform ourselves into a pious man, to realize our own self, to reach him, to reach the great master and become one with him. That's all. Okay, I take leave from you. Have a divine day. I shall meet you again by the will of the master. Om Shanti.